because throughout the weekend is international football everywhere in Europe, in South America, everywhere everybody's playing international football. Welcome, Nonso. Good morning, Nonso.
Well, good morning. It was, unlike people say, a boring weekend without club football, but it was an exciting weekend, and we saw a lot of passion from clubs we didn't, or countries we didn't know can perform, give results. Good morning for sport fans, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Niger. Up Niger.
Okay, let's start with that. Okay, let's give you the result of that game. First, Nigeria winning that game 3 goals to nil. It was a comfortable win also. That game, Osimhen playing his first game, first
For the
game in the
past,
season and scoring that beautiful goal. But the man there is Lookman. Lookman scored that first beautiful goal when he dribbled about three defenders, and passed that ball into the net. Then the second goal was a header. But generally, how do you see Nigerian performance? Because we are talking about Eguavon taking up Nigeria. If he's going to play an attacking football, if he's going to play a counter-attacking football, but we all saw he played. He pressured Benin and scored that goals and got a comfortable win for Nigeria also.
well, I told you before the game, I said the assistant coach, one of the assistant coach likes to play high line defense. The other one likes to operate from the flanks. And if you see most of the goals they scored was a high line defense. I think due to the high line defense, indeed it was up a bit. And look at that pass between him and Osimhen that led to the goal before Osimhen. And you say that was a beautiful slotted pass, a beautiful slotted positioning was from Osimhen. And the other goals, look at Iwobi cutting in from the flank and sending that pass to what's it called, Ademola Lookman. You see that most of the goals came in from the left and from the middle. It tells you they were dominant in the middle because of Daniel Ogumodede's style of play, and they were also creative from the flanks as well, which implements the style of play from Fidelis as well. So you'd say these two brilliant coaches came up with an idea to make the the Benin Republic side suffer and not expect anything from Nigeria, because Garotro was saying before the game that they had a dominant win against Nigeria the previous time they met. That most luckily some of their players were not available. Osimhen was not available, and he mentioned some key names that were not available. But in this game last night or the fortnight, we saw these players being available. Trust Ekong marshalling the defense line, Osimhen in front, and we said that they were going to get the result, and they did. Which it was a beautiful game to see. You saw everybody on their toes, not really walking around. And after scoring one goal, normal Nigeria, you score one goal, you relax. They scored and they kept on pressuring for another goal, and it was a beautiful game to see.
Now, how do you see that game, John?
Yeah, it was a fantastic game for me. It's as if Austin Eguavon was giving divine inspiration from our show on Saturday, where we were saying that we need to go. It's a revenge match. I know a couple of our listeners also called in, the likes of Bishop and a couple of other persons, to say, yes, this is a revenge match. It should be a grudge match, and we should go there and get the result. For me, I want to speak to the mentality. I want to speak to the mentality of the team, to the never say die energy, playing to the final minute, pressing them, putting them in trouble, because we saw the entire team, the Benin team, in disarray, and we ran them riots on Saturday. So kudos to the team, kudos to Eguavon and his technical team, kudos to everyone. I hope that this performance, Nigerian superstars have got a bad rap in Niger, which is that because they play in Europe, they come here, there's not enough passion in the national side. And I know we had one caller that Saturday that was really disgruntled with the Nigerian system. So I hope that, the performance we saw on Saturday can rekindle some of those passion from our fans who feel apathy to the national team. But it was a good game.
Well, see, when you said about the fans that were, these people, we understand their grudge, understand what they feel like, because every time we come to watch national team, we're always holding our hearts in our hands, covered it in cooler, and we're like, okay, if these people don't score one goal, we don't even celebrate the one goal lead anymore, because when we score the first goal, we're like, this game is still up for grabs. These people can still come back to us. So we already have our hearts in our sleeves and like, okay, fine. Let's hope for it. And after the final whistle, we can start celebrating. But yesterday, or perhaps on Saturday, we saw a different side. We saw them go on. And after the first goal, we're celebrating because Ademola Lookman was spectacular on that day, taking on defenders like it was a child's play, like it was training ground. Then the other midfielders were on top notch. Passes were complete. I think they had 86% pass accuracy in that game, which tells you that they were ready to run. They were ready to be on their toes. They were ready to outplay, outmatch, out everything on the pitch against the Benin Republic side. The Benin Republic had at least 77% pass accuracies, and those passes were between defenders. Most of those passes didn't come forward, because anytime it comes forward, there is either an interception with Ndidi or perhaps another person is intercepting and they are going back on the break. So I think they didn't really come forward. So there's pass accuracy. We have to give pass accuracy to the 14 of pass accuracy of Kevin De Bruyne. That's one of the most useless stats in this game. It was for them. It was like a useless stat because it was just passes between the two key defenders and the goalkeepers and the left and the wing backs. Then they came back to the Nigerian side. When they moved forward, they're already giving the ball away, and the Nigerians are back in
Let's
the
talk
attack
about
again.
the Osimhen because his first game he's playing this season. He has
Uh-huh.
not played and he scored that beautiful goal. When did they cross that ball? And somehow that ball reached him, and that beautiful goal. That shot was a beautiful shot, and
Yeah.
he passed the goal, and everybody was rejoicing. But him and Lookman, they are probably the future of Nigerian football.
Sure.
The
Sure.
future, yes, no doubt.
Sure.
Because look at it now. Positioning is key. Lookman has been playing from the left or from the right in Atlanta, playing anywhere. Frank Onyeka played the dominant midfield position for what's it called, Brentford, and at some point I think he's been moved out to Augsburg now. Now Ndidi has not been available due to injuries and all of that, and Leicester City. So his presence in midfield shows you the dominance that Nigeria has in midfield. So they need. I'm just going to say this out, and I'm going to put it out there. They need somebody else that would come in and understudy Wilfred Ndidi for the national team, because since Mikel Obi, no other holding midfielder has done a better job than Ndidi. Since Mikel Obi, so I'll say this. So they need to bring in someone to understudy Wilfred Ndidi, knows how he reads the game, tackles the ball, wins ball back, and learn to pass. Also, it's not the defensive midfielder that I say when he receives the ball, he's always passing to the left or the right. He's always making forward passes. He's also moving into the attacking zone to position in some critical areas where, in case if they lose the ball, he will be there to take back the ball. So he's always reading the game 10 steps ahead of other Nigerian players. And I think they need to get someone in that would understudy him, learn from him, and maybe we'll have to see a future, because the future in attack without the future in midfield and defense is like no future at all.
Yeah, for me, looking at the individual performances, stellar performance from what's his name, Ademola Lookman, and for Osimhen, I'm happy because he got a goal. You know, this is football, and in football, out of sight is usually out of mind, which means that if they don't see you scoring goals week in, week out, your value starts to drop. A lot of people start questioning your ability and
True.
your mentality, and you start doubting yourself as well too. So for everybody out there who didn't want this man well in terms of Napoli side, sorry, Baba is still himself.
Okay, Nigeria winning that game in African Cup of Nations qualifying. They beat winning Benin 3 goals to nil. Three beautiful goals from our lovely players, and they played well. Us Iguavon, let's talk about him. Should he get the job permanently now? This is like a trial. So what do you guys think? So let's start with you.
There's still one more game to play. I'm still saying there, because at some point before they gave Finidi George the appointment, at some point the world of Nigerian football journalism was agitating for Emenike to take the job, and he's been a good coach so far. You've seen his record, you've seen how good he is as a coach, how he inspires players. Samson Siasia is back from from his suspension so far. He can do the job, but I'm not looking at his side already. I'm not looking at his side. So Austin Guavon has shown us this part. Can he keep up with it? That's the question now. If he can keep up with this part, if he can do a good job with this style of play, if he can continue to get the right assistant coaches to come and assist him per games, then fine, he can get the job. But if he's not now the part of when they go for big tournament, because I'm believing for myself that at some point you need to look inwards.
Sure.
International friendlies, look inwards, and homegrown talent. This is how you infuse them into the team for top competition. I think that was what Stephen Keshi did. During friendly games, during qualifiers games, they use mostly homegrown talent. During the main tournament, they bring a majority of the foreign-based talent with a mix of the homegrown talent as well. Then when you need someone to sweat and die on the pitch, you know that somebody wants to show that he is good. He wants to prove some people wrong. Then you put in the homegrown talent and he will sweat for you, he will run for you. So I think Austin Eguavoen, so far this match, has done a good job. But I'm just looking at him the way he's progressing. If he would continue to look inward, because this is his first time he looked inward and he brought in incredible coaches. Now, if he will continue to look inward to get incredible players as well.
Okay.
For me, I think it's too early for us to call anything on Austin Eguavoen. Fantastic game, I want to make an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
The result yesterday does not count in his corner.
Why?
Because the result yesterday was gotten by players.
Come on now, you saw this.
Yeah.
I'm not done.
Okay.
So the result didn't count for him. It counted for players.
Yeah, so players brilliance.
Players brilliance. Players answered the question of passion, and dedication to the badge, and they did that yesterday for us, and we love every single one of them for
There
that.
was this
But
dedication to action, dedication to
allow
batch
me to learn now.
in
Allow
the
me to
AFCON's
learn.
final. Max, yeah, continue.
Okay, fine, thank you. I'm liking the fact that you are this passionate about this topic. And so yes, this result doesn't count in his corner because this is player brilliance. But the next 7 results where we see implementation of style of play, where we see man management.
So you could take a 3
I'm
for
not yet
seven
done.
matches.
I'm not yet done. Where we see man management, where we see how he deals with tough opponents, and his efforts in the World Cup qualification, in the World Cup qualifiers.
That's actually the main problem.
That's the real test, not this one. I'm not bamboozled by this
because
result.
this is just the first game
Yes.
in African Cup of Nations qualifying.
Yes.
This is just the first game. Where we have the challenge is when we play the World Cup qualifications.
Yeah.
But generally, and okay, guys, remember we are live on YouTube at Vote FM Sport. We are live on YouTube at Vote FM Sports, and we have some comments here, interesting comments here. Now I'm going to read that, just like what you just said, John. And Ekletu Tobi is saying, what I saw was in that Nigerian match was more of individual brilliance. They were missing communication. That's exactly what you're just saying now. So yes, it happens. Sometimes in national team you don't really have enough time for you to implement your plan, and for players to understand your tactics. It takes some level of time, level of but I think that Anekletu is right, and I think it made sense there, because what we saw there, if not for this small brilliance, we might probably draw that game, but somehow we won that game comfortably. Okay, another comment from Anekletu is Osimhen is a big name. Adam Lookman is giant, African giant this year. Definitely, I think he's going to win.
Definitely, to give him African best player.
Yes.
Top 5 dribbles in Europe, top 5 league this season. I think he's number 2 behind Mohamed Kudus. So I think he's going to go for the award so far.
So Jetopia is said, "Good morning, Vote Sports. I feel the love among the boys. They played well." Okay, they played well too. Jetopia is also saying we really can't draw conclusion with the first game. Also, I was impressed with the substitution that he made in that game. I think he made a quite good substitution, and that's all. Please join us on our YouTube channel and drop your comments. I'll be reading your comments live here in the studio.
John was talking about individual brilliance. I think you missed the point where the coaches, even no matter how brilliant a player is, if there's no instruction to play to, the players will lose their brilliance. We've seen that in many places. We've seen that in many football clubs. We've seen that in many nations. In the finals, the players had individual brilliance, but at some point in the finals, they lost their head because they didn't know what the instruction to play to was. So if there's no instruction to play to, you will lose at some point of that game. You will lose your individual brilliance. I just think the coach did a good job. Not really that he's not that fantastic, because he can't judge from one game. But next month, you'll be playing the World Cup qualifier. So let's see how that goes as well.
Okay, and Nigeria win that game 3-0. They're going to be playing another game tomorrow. We're going to talk about that game fully tomorrow. But let me give you other features that happened throughout the weekend. Mauritania 1, Botswana 0, Cameroon 1, Namibia 0, Gambia 1, Tunisia 2. That's the game that happened throughout the weekend. And Monday fixtures, today's fixtures is Burundi versus Senegal, Equatorial Guinea versus Togo, Niger Republic versus Ghana, Madagascar versus Comoros, Uganda versus Congo, Lesotho versus Morocco, Angola versus Sudan, Ethiopia versus DR Congo. Okay, let's pick one of the games there because it's interesting. It's Niger playing Ghana after losing at home, and the fans started, doing all that thing they did in their stadium, destroying things. They have a chance to play the second game against Niger. It's supposed to be a comfortable win for Ghana, and also.
Well, yes, it's supposed to, but suppose is not what we look for in football. We're looking for actions and performance. And I think for the Niger side, they've given performance so far, but they've not gotten the result of the performance they've given so far. So I think the Ghanaians also, in their last game, did not give performance, but they didn't get the result. They only played, and one player only stood out in that game. Though I'm going to say this out of bias, Mohamed Kudus stood out in that game, and he played well, but it wasn't enough to get the Ghanaian side the point. And this game now is going to be tough for them because they are going into a team, they're going to play against a team that is very physical, very dominant in defense, and very aggressive going forward. Though they are not really clinical in front of goal, but they are aggressive going forward. They win tackles, they win as in they win fouls, a lot of fouls, they win a lot of yellow cards, but they don't score the goals, and that's the problem for the EJ. So I think they will be facing a team that is very dominant in defense, very aggressive going forward, and very strong in midfield. But if that team comes out of their head and gets clinical, then Ghanaian side will have a problem. But the Ghanaian side as well have been a good side as well. But I'm just looking at who finishes up for them because they have many attackers, many attackers all around. They have plenty of midfielders that could score the goals, but yet I'm still looking at who goes in to finish off the chances.
Okay, let's see what happens in that game. Ghana is going to play in Niger, so hopefully they will not. Okay, they are playing away, so they can't even. The fans cannot even do anything. But CAF might sanction them for.
They've sanctioned.
Yeah,
they've
for
sanctioned.
crowd troubles.
The only thing is the crowd troubles did not affect the players. You know, the players are already left.
Yes.
That's why the sanction will not come big on them. The club, the what's it called? The players already left the camp. The players already left the stadium before they started destroying things, just like what happened in Abuja.
Okay, that's all the features for the African Cup of Nations qualification. It's going to happen today. Okay, let's move on to Super Falcons because Super Falcons, the Under-20 World Cup is happening as we speak, and the Super Falcons have qualified for the knockout stage. They won their last game against Venezuela, comfortable 4-0 against Venezuela. Now they have qualified. They are going to be playing. I think they are going to play in Japan on Friday. Yes, they are playing Japan on Friday. So kudos to the Falcons. They are doing us proud. They won their first game, lost against Germany, then trashed Venezuela 4-0 to qualify for the knockout stage. The other African country that is playing in that tournament is Cameroon. Cameroon has qualified. Okay, they qualified third best. So they are going to play in Brazil on Wednesday.
That's a tough one.
It's like jumping from fire to fire.
So it's football, they might still win. And the other African country there was Ghana, but Ghana has been knocked out for so they are going home. But Nigerian Falcons has qualified for the knockout stage for the Under-20 tournament. And they are going to be playing Japan on Friday. Okay, let's move on to Europe because the UEFA Nations League has happened throughout the weekend and we had some crazy results. So I'm going to read the result games that happened on Saturday. It's Netherlands 5, Bosnia 2, Germany 5, Hungary 0. Okay, let's talk about the German game, John. The German are building. I like what the coach is doing. Gradually, they are building. Winning that game comfortably by 5 goals to 0. How do you see that game?
Fantastic result, if you ask me. I like the way, but let's put things in perspective now before I start hyping Germany now.
I like putting things in perspective. So
yes, so Hungary are a decent side. They are not a good side. So it is expected that Germany should win, but to score 5 is fantastic. So yeah, good win for them. I just want to give the man his flowers, talking about other than Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala for getting on the score sheet, Musiala for assisting twice. Sorry, make that 3 times. A hat-trick of assists for Musiala and 1 goal. Fantastic talent. Please come to the Premier League.
Come on, Bayern Munich will not even allow him
come
to
to
move.
City.
Come to City.
And win.
Oh yes, even wearing a City jersey today.
Yes, 5 in a row loading.
Okay, see now, look at it now. We were talking last week about players that should be on the list and players that are not on the list and all of that. And in this Nations League, National League, UEFA National League, you've seen those talents that were supposed to be on the list that are not on the list, and you've seen them show up, and dominate. Musiala is one of those players. He dominated. Look at the way he played. He had this flair of dribbles. He had these chances created. I think he had this vision that no other. I think the only person that could have matched it but didn't have this flair of dribbles was Toni Kroos. Because the way he passes the ball, the way he sees, he spots a run and sends a pass in that direction tells you that this player is as brilliant as a midfielder as he is as a forward.
He is good. Nobody can take that away from him.
That's what I'm saying. The dribbles was spot on. The passes were precise. Like, you're running, I'm seeing your run, but I need to finish off this guy. Make sure he doesn't stop me from giving you that pass. And he does that job, dribbles you well, then sends in the pass forward. And you, as a player, if you're clinical enough, you score the goals and you're relaxed. You score the goal more easily because It comes to you at a
True that.
platter. Like it doesn't. The pass, they call at there's this thing they say in where we play ball in New Level. They say it's atanafufu. It's a sweet pass. Don't stress yourself. It will come to you, and you should just slot. Your work is just place yourself well and slot it into the post. Don't suffer yourself. Don't stress yourself. Say you're trying to trap it or you're trying to bring it down. Your first touch and all of that. Just score the goals, and I think that was what Musiala did for Germany on Saturday, and it was a good game to see. You see that player, you expect him to do more. You expect him to go more forward. And you expect him to learn as well because I think he has a lot of leaders around him in the Bayern Munich side. So he's learning a great deal.
John, Netherlands versus Bosnia. 5 goals for Netherlands. At some point, it was like the Bosnia is trying to come back, but
It was
raining goals. Netherlands flew that game and just took that game to another level and scored 5.
Yeah, kudos to them. Like, I wasn't expecting Bosnia to win because we know how credible this Netherlands side is, and we saw them live in the Euros. You know, I was really, really impressed
Saw them
with
in
the
the World
game.
Cups as well.
Yeah, I also saw them in the World Cup too, but most recently in the Euros, the anonymous man in the side, Zexi, scored a goal and got an assist. Kudos to him. I think there are certain players who do better in the national side and are still finding their feet in their club side. Zeski is one of them. There's another one of them too that is doing well in his club, winking at Nonso. So, it was a good game. My concern for the game is how they set the team up. They set up with slow motion gap on the flank and the man upstairs, Zeski. Now, my problem with Zeski is we see him do this perfect position, play a perfect game with Netherlands, but there's a disconnect elsewhere. That's my concern.
Okay, let's move on to other games that happened throughout the weekend. Is Ireland 0, England 2. England winning that game 2-0, and Guinness and Rice scored both goals. This is the first game for the new coach.
Did you see the banner they raised before the game and after the game? You did not see Rice. It was officially stated that
Rice used to play for. He is from Ireland.
That's what I'm saying. That banner alone was for Rice and Grealish, and I think Grealish still goes to that stadium to play football because he played most of his youth game there. That's why he learned to. When you kick him, it doesn't fall. He says he plays without his boots and all of that. Is where he learned how to play football. These players played for the under 17s for the Irish side, only for them to be playing for England. And I went on and I did some research and I said if only they had a list of players, a starting 11 for Ireland now, it would be the English national team. Only just 2 players that would not be in the English national team. Because I saw the likes of Harry Kane, his descent, and all of that. And I felt like even the coach, Lee Carson, at some point was said to be from the Irish side. So look at a full side playing for the English side. 9 of them that are supposed to be playing for Ireland.
This conversation now is a topic of, what would they call it now? I'm looking for the right word, but let me just explain it to you without. Yes, it's a topic for origin. You have people who are British because they are born in Britain. You have people who are British because they are from Britain. They are 2 different things. So being born in England, you can have citizenship through that means, even though your parents and your lineage, everything is from Ireland. So we have that happen. Like we have
if my father was born in England, but me now, and my grandfather was originally Irish. I think that was the case of Harry Kane and some of the other players. Then definitely they qualified to play for Ireland. But the banner they raised was the snake banner for these 2 players.
Yeah, the return of the snakes. Yeah,
the return of the snake. And I'm like, why are you guys so? Why is this so bad?
They're entitled to feel bitter. It's not even mine, and that's why you saw that celebration. Like
I know they hear you. I
can't hear you. Like whatever, and
Okay, that game. But generally, that game, how do you see the new coach? He brought in some young players that he coached on the under 21. He introduced them. Especially in the second half, he introduced some of them. But generally, how do you see his play? Do you think that he's a man that can take England to the next level?
First, in this tournament, you play players that are irrelevantly unknown, so the other side does not spot your style of play. And you saw the substitutions he did top notch. All those players he brought in, players we've never heard of, that's never dreamt would play for the English national team, came on, played good football. You saw them, you spotted the way they played, you saw their dribbles, you saw what they could do. You say, okay, fine, if I'm going into top tournament, can I carry this player along? These players are trying to buy themselves into the national team. They're trying to buy themselves into the big boys league. That's what it is now, because national team is like the big boys league. Now these players put their hearts out, sweated it out on the pitch, and played a good football. For some time I've been saying play Anthony Gordon, play Anthony Gordon. You saw what he did in that game. Most of the dribbles from that flank, and you say, wow, this guy is good. You saw many of these players come in and played a good game.
I think another kudos you have to give is Arnold Trent. He played from that right back. Trippier has retired.
Yeah.
He retired. So I don't think he has competition now. Him and Walker is about 34 years old. So he's going to be the
for me, I've always been on the bandwagon on playing Trent in his right back position. Allow him some freedom to come up front and support the attack, no doubt. But play him there. That mixture, they call it tincture of putting him alongside Declan Rice. It doesn't work. Let the man play his role. Simple.
Okay, the other games that happened on Sunday is Switzerland versus Spain. Interesting about Switzerland versus Spain winning that game 4-1. But interesting is at the 20th minute, they got a red card. And they still went on to win that game comfortably 4-1 also.
That is show of character. You lose a man, you play with your game, you don't just relax and say you want to defend. Play your best game, be on the ball, be on your toes. Everybody should be on their toes. I saw the stuff the coach did. He took out a striker for a midfielder, which makes it easy for the midfield, you understand, to handle more of the ball, because that is where you win your games. You lose a man, fine, no problem. Just overcrowd the middle of the park and make sure you get your result. And you see the midfielder they brought in was a box to box. He was running like from defense to attack, from attack to defense, and many of them were doing the same thing. Everybody was on their toes, everybody was expecting a good pass. And we also said this about the Spanish side before now. We've said this before. The coach that perhaps they say before you scout a player for the Spanish side, don't look at the pace. Don't look at the strength, but look at it. They always look at first for the intelligence of the players before they scout you into the national team side. And you look at the players inside have brought in so far. They've always been intelligent, even if they don't have pace, even if they don't have strength like all those bullies in the Premier League. But they've always been intelligent on the ball, and that is what the that's what the Spanish team has over many of the other teams. They have intelligent players that could make the ball work for them instead of working for the ball.
Just like I said, I'm happy also said it. Also say that is show of character. Now let's go sideways now. Arsenal in that game that they drew. What did I say? I said that is show of character. And also say he didn't see any show of character.
They were reserved.
He didn't see any.
See, look at it now. You were winning a 2-goal. You were winning by 2-1, and you took a red card. Now you took the red card. Arsenal in this light will take out a striker and put a defender. We'll take out somebody creative that could be on the ball and bring in somebody that will run for counter attacks.
So character is only when you keep playing attacking football.
When you keep playing. Understand me. Is when you keep playing your football. The show of character is when you keep playing your not attacking football. If you're a defensive side and you lose a man and you bring in the defender to replace that man, I'll say fine. That's your own show of character. But you're an attacking footballing side. You're a side that holds on to the ball for a very long period, and you lose a man, and you bring in a defender, and you sit deep. That is not sure. That's been reserved. That's been conservative of chances. The Spanish side are a side that holds on to the ball for as long as it takes. They take a man down. They take a bullet to the head. John. They take a bullet to the head. They continue to play their foot. It's not changing tactics. They didn't look at the game. The way they started the first 20 minutes was the same way they finished the game. They didn't change tactics to reserve themselves and defend. They played their football till the very end of the game.
That thing would have gone 50-50 if they were playing against a Germany side, right?
If they were playing against
and if they were playing a Germany side, they would have played the reserve and conservative. So
Brighton side and a big side.
I'm telling you now that lack of conservation or reservedness leads to losing games. And when you rather have a point than lose a game, that is show of character.
Okay. I have some comments here. Remember, guys, you are live on YouTube at Vote FM Sport. That Spain game is giving my guys worries. I don't know character and not character, because we argued throughout the weekend. I think two weeks ago.
That was last weekend.
When Arsenal went down, one man down,
and went to defend.
So we are arguing if Arsenal showed character in that game, but they still have that same different opinion till today. Okay, I'm going to read some comments here on our YouTube channel. Remember, guys, we are live on YouTube at Vote FM Sports. Okay, Jutopia say, please, when is Nigerian next match? Who are we playing against? Okay, we are playing
Rwanda,
Rwanda
yes,
so
Rwanda.
tomorrow. We are playing
On
Rwanda
Tuesday.
tomorrow on Tuesday. So that game, we're going to analyze that game tomorrow. Esther Divine is saying the return of the snake. Okay, that was shown in the banner. That was in the banner they showed England versus Ireland. They showed that banner talking about Rice and
Jack
Greenish.
Grealish.
So that was the banner they showed. Andrew Iwe is good job, Vote Sports. You keep giving us current sports updates. Well done. Thank you very much, Andrew. Josh is saying that's not character. So Josh, is it that's not character? Is it against Arsenal versus Brighton? I think that what he's taking. That's not didn't show character, but I think that's what Josh is trying to say.
Whose version of character? Please
Yes,
explain.
explain. I want to understand the version of character you're talking about. And Akletus Obi is saying this painting, we are victory hungry. The guys, we are tireless, even when Landamad was out on a red card. So he gave red card, they played their game and they still won that game. Very, very, very comfortable. I was even surprised they scored four.
Like you said, played their game. Like not their game they play.
Okay, Spain is like a good side. They are the European champions. So everybody is expecting them to win the game. That first game they drew 0-0. Everybody was surprised, but this one they went down 10 man just 20 minutes into the game, but somehow they won that game comfortably by 4 goals to 1. Okay, the other game that happened, a very popular game, is Portugal versus Scotland. Cristiano Ronaldo again came to the second half to score that goal.
901.
901. He scored that goal in the 88 minutes. So this Portugal game, do you think that Cristiano Ronaldo should stay to the World Cup? Because that's the contention
See,
now.
Baba never get to go bench him.
He should stay till there's 1,000 goals.
It's not even if he's do you know he can complete the 1,000 goals this season for the Saudi League. He can score like 60 something goals, and you know this season and maybe after
He
like
scored, I think, on record 44
last season. So he scores another 44 this season, and you know, and that was on record. The ones they didn't record, they didn't know because there are many goals he scored.
I caught a podcast where he said he scored 60, so maybe preseason and
all of that they didn't record it. Now look at it now. He scores this season 45, 44, or 40 this season. He still has like 60 goals or perhaps 58 goals to go. Now 58 goals, he can score it next season. And next season is still the World Cup season. So he scores it in the next season and goes into the World Cup and scores goals as well. So it's all about timing. If he says he can score those goals in 1 year and retire, then fine. If he's targeting 1,001 goals or 1,100 goals, then fine. If he has the capacity or if he has the strength to go on and run the way he does when that time, because now as the age they go up, about the age like fine wine, we know.
When that World Cup will happen, he's going to be 41.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. He's going to be 41. If that work next 2 years, he's going to be 40. He's just 38 or 39 this season.
Buffon, I think Buffon was the only goalkeeper to beat that age bracket because he was not an outfielded player. He was a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Now the only person else to go to 40 years for international trophies was this guy, Pepe,
the recent one,
Pepe for Portugal.
Yeah.
Now look at it now. These players go 40 and they're still playing for national teams because I believe in that because replacement, not be just replacement, not be anyhow replacement because defender plenty. Credible replacement never there for these players. Buffon day for Italy and he's going to 20 euros. 20. Come on, you say does Italian side not have good goalkeepers? Until Donnarumma showed up, nobody knew that Italian side had good goalkeepers like that. So I'm just saying, if there's no proper out and out replacement for Ronaldo that could come into midfield, create chances, go forward and bury those chances. Bros, if you play till you are 50 for your national team side, no problem.
Play. And then secondly, I think Ronaldo has a thing or two to learn from Messi, in the sense that as you approach 40, 41, if you look at Messi's game, if you bulk of the match is working, it's not running.
He's been working since he was 25.
Yes, he's been working. So once he sees the movement and he starts picking up into a jog, and then he gets the ball and start running. So I think
the same Ronaldo, don't worry. So they do the same thing.
I disagree. I think Ronaldo in that position to manage his fitness one, his energy levels one, and
that we did go for Portugal to win that game against Scotland 2 goals to 1. Okay, guys. When we'll come back, we'll talk about other games that happened because they happened. A lot of games happened in the UEFA Nations League. Stay with us. We'll be right back shortly. This thing.
Let's vibe together.
Volt 104.3 FM.
Hello, Enugu. Have you heard? Volt 104.3 FM is granting small businesses in Enugu a chance to be heard and to be known. Let us help you advertise your business for as low as 2,500 naira per spot. And if you pay 50,000 naira for 20 spots, we will give you 10 spots for free. For more inquiries, visit Volt 104.3 FM at 64 Ozobolo Street by ESBS Junction, Enugu, or call our marketers on 0815 628 5384 or 0816 215 5195.
Volt 104.3 FM.
Welcome back, guys. You are on to Volt Sports on Volt 104.3 FM, and we are live now on YouTube at Volt FM Sports. Okay, let me give you other results that happened throughout the weekend again in the UEFA Nations League. The other game that happened: Croatia winning Poland 1-0, and Denmark winning Serbia 2-0. Croatia versus Poland, that game was interesting. It ended 1-0. But let's talk about today's fixtures, because we have big games happening today. It's France versus Belgium, and Israel versus Italy, and Norway versus Austria. Before we continue there, we have some comments here on our YouTube channel. Remember, guys, we are live on YouTube at Volt FM Sports. We are live on YouTube at Volt FM Sports. And Paul Chukwud is saying, good job, guys. Okay, thank you very much, Paul. Walt is saying, this is what I call the Ronaldo effect in Portugal. It just happened yesterday. Josh is saying, what I think is that Ronaldo will complete the 100 goal in 2 seasons time. For me, I don't see him getting to 100 goals this current season. I don't think he's going.
Not this season. I'm just saying this season and next season.
Yeah.
By the end of 2026, he's getting it, and 2026 is perhaps
World Cup, yeah.
the World Cup.
Maybe
So,
it's caused the 1,000th one in the World Cup. Record it. I called it here.
what if he scores before the World Cup?
Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, you can join the conversation with us in the studio. The number to call is 0706 048 5853. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Name and location, please.
Good morning.
Hello. Okay,
Welcome,
Bishop
sir.
from Transekulu, what is your own contribution? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Naturally. Yeah.
I want to say something to your notes before I drop the call.
Okay.
Maybe you have not been thinking about it. Zeg scored. Carlos scored. Another one did very well.
Well said, man. Well said. No.
Eric Ten Hag. What's up? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm thinking it. If I said it now, they will say I have personal beef for mine. That's why I'm sipping my tea here.
Why is it that whenever they are out, you see them doing well, but whenever they
Uh-huh.
together with particular coach, what happens?
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have to think about that.
So I need to hear from you, John.
Okay.
Unpopular opinion,
I'm-
Zelensky was not on top form against Liverpool. He missed his chances. He had those chances and he didn't bury them. Against, what's it called now? He scored the chances. You can't compare the two styles of play. It was similar.
To answer your question, Bishop, here's my candid opinion, and I'm going to be as bare as I can be. Someone asked this man this question in an interview few days back, and I stand solidly behind that journalist. Why? Because we got to see a flustered Eric Ten Hag. The journalist asked him that you came to this club, you complained about infrastructure, you complained about staffing, you complained about the team around you. You made all these complaints. They fixed they're working on infrastructure. They've changed backroom staff. They've given you 2 extra coaches that were managing teams before they came to Man U. They are now your assistant manager. They've spent over 200 million this summer again, got you players. And at the end of the day, you just have to ask yourself, could it really be your coaching? Because the result from last season, given these few games we've seen, is virtually the same thing. No change in performance, no change in the way you set up your team, and the results, the same old thing. So could it really be your coaching? My brother, I stand with you. I think the real thing is his coaching. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, let's see how it goes with Manchester United. Club football is going to start again this weekend. So let's leave club football for now. Let's talk about international football because games are still going to happen again in the UEFA Nations League. Okay, today we talked about France versus Belgium. They are going to happen. So how do you see that game? France losing that first game. Now they are going to play this Belgium team that won their own first game too. What are you expecting now? So what are you expecting in that game?
Like we said, now we're talking about this France game after the Italian lose, and we say that was a grudge match. This one also represents the grudge match that happened. I think it was in the 2020 World Cups. Or sorry, I said 2020 World Cups, 2018 World Cups, the France Belgium semi-finals, all of that. So this one will replicate what happens in that game as well, because we see a Belgium side that were flourishing in their last game. Everybody was on top notch. Everybody was on their toes. A credible midfield combination. Telemans and Onana were good in the midfield, with Kevin coming ahead of them. They had dominance in the ball. They had players that could run and pass the ball around, that could also tackle the ball and win balls in critical areas. And the France side, I'm looking at them now like, come on, are they somewhat missing some players like Camavinga and all of that? Because we know they've missed Oba for a long time now. We're not going to put him in that role. We're beginning to see that leadership is missing in that midfield, because Tchouaméni and Kante comparison is just too defensive that it's going forward. So maybe Camavinga might be there to help out, but he's not now. And at this point, I'm going to say maybe they miss Rabiot, because look at where no, I'm just saying, I don't know, but it seems like they didn't really pass the ball forward. They didn't really control the midfield in this last game against Italy, and they were hurt by it. So against Belgium, they're playing against Kelvin and Telemans and Onana.
And Doku.
And no, I'm not talking about the attack.
Okay.
The attack now, Openda, Lukaku, Doku.
No man,
I'm not talking about.
I cite you.
I'm not talking about those ones. Those ones can be dangerous on their own right. They can. But if we're talking about Doku and the rest, I believe the France defense can handle them. But please don't play me Jonathan Klaus. Play me
Kunde is better.
Right back, please. I know Upamecano is maybe off and on season. Get these players in. Play me these players in their right positions. The Jonathan Klaus, 31-year-old or 32-year-old man playing as right back, was outborn, and playing for Nice was outpaced. Couldn't catch up with the attacks. If not him against Doku, it's going to be. I think the Belgium side are going to run him riot.
Okay, number to call is 0706 048 5853. 0706 048 5853. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Name and location, please.
Yeah, my name is Lucifer King, aka Lucy.
Okay, what is your contribution?
Yeah, all right. I love your program. This is my first time calling.
Oh,
Wow, welcome.
welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. I've been trying this number for a while. I've not been connected. So I'm so happy that I got this.
Okay, welcome to the show.
Yeah, talking about Nigerian performance. I love that. Nigerian performance. They did well. They make us proud. They don't give us half a card. So I pray I pray that we are going to do well against Rwanda.
Tomorrow.
We're going to do well against Rwanda. So I think I concur what Joy was saying, that it was it's not on the Gabon side, on the player side. Yes. But the player, they work at it and they use their professionalism at it to make the fans strong. So, and also, Ronaldo is my man, he's my icon. You understand? I love Ronaldo so much. I pray that even he can stay in football 100 years. But
Wow. Wow.
I know that one is not possible. But in fact, I love that Ronaldo very well. Ronaldo is trying to tell the footballers of working hard. Ronaldo trains hard. If not because of the way Ronaldo trains hard, really.
Yes.
Man
Yes.
is that Ronaldo watch his diet.
Yes.
Ronaldo watch what he eats. Ronaldo work on his active. And now you see that Karim Mbappe has now been looking what Ronaldo is doing. So that's
Sure.
why I was in love when Karim Mbappe came to Real Madrid, because I'm a hardcore Real Madrid fan.
Oh,
I was
okay.
saying, let Karim Mbappe come. And there are many people that are mocking Karim Mbappe. He's not going to score much. He's not going to score much in Real Madrid. That is flop. But he was able to put on his team to them by giving that to goals. Even I was trying to see the way he and Vinicius are working, because once they got that penalty, he was able to
Give it to him.
Vinicius was able to give it to him.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that he
All right.
will still believe.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So I'm so happy.
All right.
So happy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Okay, John, let me stay with you with the France versus Belgium. What are you expecting in that game? Do you think that France can do something tangible in that game?
It remains to be seen though, but I'm rooting for France in that game. Belgium are no pushover. They are top team.
Within
Okay, top team. Okay, the next game that's happening, Israel versus Italy. Italy winning that impressive game against France. So, do you think that normally they should be winning this game? But how football happens, they might say because they won France, they are going to actually win Israel, and they come into that game.
Israel should just go back to engineering. They are good in nuclear engineering. They should just go back there and leave football for people that play football. In recent years, but for like 10, 15 years now, we've not seen a big name player. There's no player who came out from the Israeli side and has been hyped the way other teams have been hyping their players across Europe.
We have undervalued Israeli players that have played in the Premier League. Let's not forget, when you watch football and you love football, you can't forget some of these names. Like you can't forget the Yossi Benayoun's and the rest of football. These are Israeli players that have done well in the Premier League.
They've done well in the Premier League. Did you when the Premier League finished? Like I said, they've not really sang them songs, because if you look at the way they played, they've not really made.
As a top fan, and
they've not really met the top 10 ranking in the Premier League. Let alone in the top 5.
In the Premier League, how many players from nations in Asia and Africa have entered the top 10 leagues?
Once, then they break
How
into
many?
Even in the likes of what's it called now? The Premier League, you still hear the names of Jejo Kocha and Diop and maybe Kanu Wonko and the African players. They sang them praise.
That's myopic.
Let's get your prediction for France versus Belgium, John.
Draw.
Let's get your prediction for Israel versus Italy.
Italy all the way.
Italy all the way. Okay, let's talk about one more game before we move out to Nigerian Professional League. But it happened. Professional League happened throughout this weekend. We are going to talk about that maybe in 5 minutes. But that game against Norway versus Austria. Norway is the team that has Haaland. Odegaard. But somehow they don't qualify for any tournament. For any tournament at all. I don't know why that happens. Okay, let's take this call before we continue. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Name and location, please.
Yeah, I'm calling from the other state.
Delta State. Okay,
Wow.
what is your name, sir?
I'm just Josh Rush.
Okay, Josh. Okay, Josh, what is your contribution, Josh?
Yeah, I want to talk about the France and the Belgium game, because the last match France played, I was not impressed at all. Their midfield is something else. Like they did not really do well. So I think that much, what I see that much will likely go draw, or Belgium will likely go the match.
Okay.
Because France are not performing the way they should. The midfield is lacking a lot of depth. And the attacking option is not really giving me that vibe that I have. You know, the kind of match they played before they won the World Cup, they will keep the match they played, and the other matches that have been playing, you see that there have been changes. I don't know if it's because of the coach or the ability of the players not able to perform the way they should perform. But in terms of Belgium side, I like that Lukaku is not there. Because Lukaku is a big flop. You know, I like that he's not even there in the bench. So I think Belgium this time around, they will really go out to make sure that they play against France in the way that France will not even expect.
Okay. Thank you very much, Josh.
And also, the Ronaldo aspect of it, I'm a Ronaldo fan.
Yeah, everybody's a Ronaldo fan today. What is happening?
Yeah, I'm a Ronaldo fan. I like Ronaldo. So I think, with this game, if Ronaldo, let me say Portugal, win, it's a probability. If they win the Euro Cup, that would be another stepping stone for Ronaldo because he has started a lot.
Yes.
But I don't really know if it will be possible for them to win. But I'm just saying, if they win it, that would be a very big thing for him.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Okay. We're talking about Norway versus Austria. But what do you think is wrong with this Norway side? What do you think that is wrong? They have this Haaland. And this Haaland, we have seen individual brilliance like Bale took Wales. Only him single-handedly took Wales to almost the quarterfinal or the semi-final of the Euros. Qualified.
Don't say only Bale, because in that Wales side we had
we have
have some key men there now.
not even key men. If they put you an issue, I don't know whether they take it to say both, because all of them they run like people as a people dog they pursue. You had pacey players and you have clinical finishers. That is one thing you know about the Wales side. For Norway,
so Haaland is not clinical.
See, it's clinical, but who has the pace to go on the break? If I look at it, they are sitting deep against a side of maybe a Portuguese side. They're sitting deep because Portugal has more midfielders, more credible defenders against them. You're sitting deep and you want to hit on the break. Who has the pace to run forward and finally pass the ball to Haaland? It's maybe Odegaard.
Only Odegaard in that midfield.
That's what I'm saying.
For me, looking at this Norwegian side, if you look at their game against Denmark that they lost, for me, I have bone to pick. The glaring obvious fact there is that I'm only seeing 4 players on that starting 11. We have the Haaland, you have Odegaard, you have Oscar Bob, and you have Christophe Adjer. And every other person,
come out
5.
Oscar Bob, Nasty Academy
Oscar
player.
Bob, and then Sander Berge.
Nasty Academy player.
5. Sander Berge is not an academy
No, I'm talking
guy.
about Oscar.
So you have just these 5 players. The rest of the team is basically unknowns. But now the utility of these players is off because they are playing Odegaard on the wings rather than behind the striker. So I think if they play a 4-2-3-1 formation with Odegaard behind Haaland and fast wingers on the side, they have a better chance winning.
Okay, let's see what happens in Norway versus Austria. Nigerian Professional League happened throughout the weekend. It's something. I'll give you the result, then I'll ask this final question. In that game on Sunday, it's Star 2-1, Katsina United 0, Kwara 1, Niger Tornadoes. Result for them, they won away 2-1. Abia Warriors 0. Remo Stars 2. Their coach is away international duties,
and they are winning games.
Sunshine Stars 3, Bayelsa United 0, Bende Insurance 0, Rivers United 0. Heartland of Owerri 1, Inyimba won that game 3-1. Today is Lobby Star versus Aqua United. It's going to happen today. But the last question I want to ask before we end the show is that why are we playing international football and we are playing club football at the same time? Because other countries, they play international football, or the club football is ceased to happen. They don't play club football. That means they don't even value, Nigeria doesn't even value our club football, because how can we be playing international football and at the same time we are playing club football at the same time? It doesn't make sense.
It's just
I think you have it in reverse, because if we are having international games, club football should pause. So the NPFL are disrespecting the Super Eagles. They need to implement a pause whenever we have international games, because you are dividing the attention and the devotion of Nigerians now to watch their own smaller games or watch the national team. I think it's off. It's not on the NFF. I think it's on the NPFL.
Well, see, look at it now. It's called calendar shift. At some point, they had this calendar issue where they played their games. They only go on holiday during the CAF African Cup of Nations. But now, because of the calendar shift, and when at some point the MPFL was halted for a very long time, so you want to meet up with the calendar of every other team in Africa. So why go on break? It's just international friendly. It's not that it's one big tournament that we are playing. It's international friendly. So it should meet up with the calendar.
They're starting this season in August. Everybody's starting this season in August.
And they are meeting again. And in January, and they play the AFCONs in January. What happened?
This would not have happened in England because the Premier League is on hold while friendly. So I think we should just look at some of the base standards that is acceptable in the world and implement back home, rather than continuing this for want of a better, or this madness, because I can't explain it.
Well, what I'm saying is that I don't think it's nice, because if you are playing international football, I don't think we should be playing club football,
Yes.
but it's happening in Nigeria. Okay, guys, thank you for joining us today's show. Thank you for joining us today's show. Remember, we are live every day on YouTube at Vote FM Sports. I will see you guys tomorrow. We have a lot of games to talk about tomorrow. A whole lot of games. I will see you tomorrow. My name is Godwin, and have a lovely day.
Hello Enugu and welcome to Volt 104.3 FM, where music meets the voltage. Take a break and enjoy the show.
Sports.
Alex Iwobi gets the ball to the left-hand side, the delivery comes in. Oh, it's a goal!
Entertainment.